Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hybrid Fight Night at TFL. And over here is the returning champion, the brand new Toyota Prius. And here is the returning challenger, the brand spanking new Honda Insight. And coming up right now, me and Tommy are going to tell you which one is the one to get.
From the exterior, the Prius is certainly more bold, if not polarizing, when compared to the Insight. It really does scream, look at me, I'm a hybrid. And for that, you either love it or you don't love it as much. I think it's pretty cool, especially in this turquoise color, but I understand why it's not to a lot of people's tastes.
Under the hood of the returning challenger is a 1.5 liter Atkins cycle 4-cylinder engine plus 2 electric motors for a combined horsepower of 151, best in class out of these two, and 197 pound-foot of torque. Now, this engine can be used to either power the front wheels or charge up the battery, which then powers the front wheels. It's a very sophisticated drive system with no transmission.
So what's happening is the engine is spooling up essentially to provide more juice to power the motor to get us down the road faster.
Yeah, exactly. And you're getting this kind of weird rubber band effect that you would get with a CVT.
Right.
And it gets old after a while. It's kind of drony, and that's my only issue with this car. Otherwise, I love the driving position. I love the way that the steering wheel comes to hand, the way that the car goes around turns. It's all very good.
If you thought the exterior of the Prius was bold, take a look at the interior. This is a top-of-the-line Prius, and it's got this massive over 11-inch display in the middle here, two-tone seats, and you've heard of piano black trim. Have you heard of Oregon white? That's what I'm going with that. I'm coining that term, Oregon white, piano black. Overall, though, this interior is really gorgeous. I really like the quality of the materials and this curved design across the width of the dashboard. Really cool.
The Prius, of course, screams hybrid. It defines the term hybrid. But the Insight, you probably wouldn't know this is a hybrid unless you looked at the little label on the side of the car that actually says hybrid. So it really depends on if you want to wear your greenness on your sleeve or hide it under your collar.
This Prius has a slightly larger engine than the Insight. It is a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder versus that 1.5. The combined system horsepower is 121 horsepower, which is 30 less than in the new Insight.
The three cars that compete in this segment for the most part are the Prius, the Insight, and the Hyundai Ioniq.
Yep.
And starting prices are all around $22,000, with basically the Ioniq being the cheapest, and then $500 more you get into the Insight, and then $500 more you get into the Prius. So this Prius is a little bit more expensive than the other two, but it also gets the highest fuel economy. Regular version of this gets 52 combined, which is the same that the Insight gets.
Right.
But the Insight feels bigger to me.
Well, the thing is, though, is this is a hatchback.
Yeah.
So it's got more cargo room behind the rear seats, 10 cubic feet more cargo room behind the rear seats.
The biggest difference between these two cars is, of course, back here. The Insight is a traditional sedan with a trunk and with folding seats. See what I mean? Pretty much flat. And usually in the past, hybrids had batteries in the space behind the second row. Today, the batteries are down low. They don't take up any additional space, giving you a lot of room where you could potentially stick a mountain bike or even a road bike back here and not actually miss the fact that it's not a hatchback like the Prius.
If you recall, the second generation Insight was a hatchback as well, but they changed it for this new one. 60/40 folding rear seats. Let me show you. There we go. There's one. The second one folds down with ease. There's a lot of space in the back of this Prius. But we have 30 less horsepower. So the combined system output of this Prius is 121, where the combined system output of the Insight is 151. And it shows that, yeah, it's not that fast.
Yeah, and they both are very similar. They both have an Atkins cycle. And actually, this has a bigger engine. It's a 1.8 liter. That one's a 1.5. They both have 2 electric motors / generators, right? So they approach kind of the high fuel economy numbers in a very similar way. Full disclosure, you know, my wife, your mom, used to have one of these, so I'm very familiar with the Prius.
Yep.
And you know, it's amazing that previous generation would get mid 40s to high 40s all day long, which is just incredible to me. And you know, to be in a car that easily gets 50 mpg, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Inside, the Insight is all Honda, very driver-centric. Everything comes to hand very easily, and in this touring model, which is of course the most expensive version of the Insight you can buy, everything feels expensive and everything, well, is expensive. The only kind of fly in the ointment for me is a push-button transmission. I'm not a fan, but you know, that's a personal preference.
Now, this Prius is a little bit less fun to drive than the Insight. It's a little bit numb.
You know what the Insight does? It really drones on. Floor it. Let's see how this one drones. This one at least kind of sounds like it's accelerating. When you're in the Insight and you do that, the motor just drones and drones and drones. But yeah, if we're being honest, they're both not the most fun vehicles to drive. But they're not meant to be.
Yeah, really there's two schools of thought here, right? Honda went out to design a really great little car that happens to be hybrid. And the impression I get here with the Prius is it's a great little hybrid that happens to also be a relatively small car.
Yeah, and it's really, you know, two flavors of the same ice cream. Like one's dark chocolate and one's light chocolate, but they're both chocolate. As always, I'm sitting behind myself, and legroom is adequate. Headroom is a little cozy. It's a big car. It's probably about the same size as an Accord from the previous generation. Considering it's built on the new Civic platform, there's plenty of room back here.
There really is a surprising amount of space in the back seat of this Prius. I am sitting behind myself here as I would be driving. I am 6 feet tall, and look at all this legroom. My knees are probably 4 inches from even touching the back of that seat. Headroom-wise, it's a little bit compromised because this is a hatchback with a sloping roof, but overall, it's surprisingly comfortable.
So which one of these is faster, Tommy? I mean, no one's going to race a hybrid, but it's still fun to know which one's faster. Now, there are two of us in here. We're at sea level.
This is not very sciencey, but I'm going to put it into power mode.
Yep.
Are we ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1, floored.
Okay.
Oh, wow, here we go. 30, 40, 50, 60.
What do you think that was?
That felt like 11 seconds.
Yeah, very good.
11.53.
There you go, guys. 11.53 with two people in a Prius at sea level. It ain't fast.
It ain't fast.
It ain't fast. Or furious. But it's fuel efficient.
It's fuel efficient.
Those.
Sorry, we're backing up. That is so annoying.
It is so annoying.
This is more fun and fuel efficient. Or frugal and fuel efficient.
Yeah, I'll go with those two F's. And the beeping is another F, but we won't talk about that. How fast is the Insight from 0 to 60?
Oh, I think you should put it in sport mode.
You think so? Sport it is! Sport mode, we are in sport mode. What was the Prius's time?
11.53.
Yep, 11.53. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. This is about as unscientific as it gets, but nevertheless fun. I'm just gonna floor it.
Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, floored.
Wow, it sounds different.
That's 40, 50, 60.
Well, that was a lot faster.
Really?
8.95.
Whoa. So 30 more horsepower
Yep.
makes for a much faster car.
It sounds much different as well.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about the sport button. Check this out, dude. Watch what this sounds like when you accelerate. Okay, and now let me put it in regular mode, eco mode, right?
Oh yeah, there's a little difference there. Well, this one screams at you that it's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
You see it and
Dark
you're like,
chocolate.
that's a Prius, that's a hybrid.
Like 80%.
Cocoa.
Yeah.
Full on dark chocolate.
Versus like Hershey's, which is whatever, 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But this one that we're in is expensive, right? This is like 32K.
Yeah, so it starts at under 24, which is a little bit more than the Insight.
Yeah.
But this is the Prius 4. This is the top of the line with the big display.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's 32 grand. So this vehicle shares its underpinnings with the 10th generation Honda Civic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love the Honda Civic, and this is basically like an XL version of that chassis. The car is a little bit more substantial. It's a little bit kind of heavier. It just feels like a bigger car. I'm not saying it is a bigger car, but it does have those driving manners of more of a traditional sedan. The companies, it's like a fight, right? One punches, one counter punches, one jabs, the other one jabs. There's not a lot really between the two, and it really comes, I think, down to the fact: do you want your hybrid to scream hybrid, or do you want it to be subtle and just be a hybrid under the hood but not in the sheet metal? If it were my money, I suppose I would get the Honda, just because I like the fact that it's kind of a stealth hybrid. If it were your money,
I know I'm probably going to get some flack on this online,
yeah,
but I would go for the Prius. I really like that interior on the Prius.
Yeah, and both of these cars, let's face it, are going to become very popular if fuel prices go above $4 a gallon, which is the way that it's heading. So, whether you like chocolate or vanilla, they're both ice cream, and they're both really good.
Or chocolate and darker chocolate.
Or darker chocolate. As always, this is Roman.
And Tommy.
Saying thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views,
and real-world
hybrid reviews.